Hello, everyone. My name is Junde. Very happy to be here to share with you about our company and all the interesting data that we see worldwide. So, just a little bit of introduction about myself. I am Singaporean, but I've lived in China for the past 8 years. Just returned to this small place, not this, but Singapore. Okay, and yeah. So let's get started with all the interesting stuff today. So basically, I would do this. I think I have 45 minutes. I think I finished this in 25 minutes. And after that, we open the floor up for any kind of questions, okay? Okay, first of all, one analysis tip when you're looking at the market or looking at your own data or whatever, this kind of stuff, it's always important to look at three things. So, three simple analytical questions. Who are at the top? Okay, of course, you look at any chart, you want to see who are at the top. The second most important question is, are they still growing? Because if you're number one, but if you're not growing, if you don't know that number two is catching up to you very fast, this is very important to know. Okay, there are many very early, many mature countries in the world today who have a lot of mobile revenue, but they are not growing anymore, and a lot of other countries are growing. So this is something to know. And the third thing is, who else is growing? Okay, things that you don't see, because you see today, okay, US is big, China is big, Japan is big, Korea is big, India is big. Everyone knows this already. But what else is growing? So these are very important things about data that you can see, and you should appreciate this rather than just the first question. First question is, who is top? That's very simple to answer. Okay, so first of all, a little bit of introduction about our company, App Annie. So App Annie, we are unique in that we actually started from Beijing, China. So we are one of the companies that are very global today, but actually started from Asia. So we started from Beijing, China, and actually this is a little bit outdated. We have around 400 people now. It's been around close to 6 years, and we have 14 offices worldwide. So we are also funded by the biggest guys in the VC world, like Sequoia Capital, IDG, IVP, and so on. So this very international reach allows us to serve many, many different customers all over the world. In fact, all the biggest companies in the world use our products, they trust in us. So you see all the biggest names in each segment, in each region, they all trust in App Annie data. So just a little bit on our products. We have free products, paid products. Free products, we have on the left side, App Analytics. This helps you track your own data, track your own analytics. This is free, no SDK required, so you can try this out on your own. And the other part is free market data. Analytics is looking at your own app. Market data is looking at everyone else's app, and this is free. So you can see all their historical ranks, all their daily ranks all over the world, all their reviews, ratings, the search keywords, and so on. Everything about every app is there, and it's free, okay? So if you have not tried this out yet, please go just try it out, play with it. And in terms of our premium data, we have mainly three kinds of intelligence. Store intelligence is about downloads and revenues of every app in the world. Audience intelligence is about demographics and related apps. And then usage is about usage activity of apps. Why is usage important? In fact, usage is the most important because store, in terms of downloads, if you drive marketing dollars, if you push a lot of marketing campaign, you have downloads. But people use it after that. This is where it's most valuable. Investors don't invest in because you have downloads. They invest because you have usage activity. And they want to see very good retention on your apps. Okay. So moving on quickly to all the trend data that we have. So firstly, App Store trends. So firstly, what I want to say is that mobile is like nothing before. There's nothing like mobile industry, nothing like apps. Why? Because you think about it, before mobile apps, what was there? There was internet and there was TV. Internet and TV are very big in the big mature countries, developed countries like US, Japan, Korea, and so on, because a lot of households have internet. Everyone has a laptop, MacBook, whatever. But if you look at the world population, these countries are a very small percentage of world population. Where is the world population? They're in China, they're in India, they're in Russia, they're in Latin America, Africa. And today, mobile is very cheap because smartphones sell at the price of $100. And at the same time, you can enjoy the best apps on a $100 smartphone compared to iPhone 6 Plus. They enjoy similar experience. So suddenly, this is mobile nothing like nothing before, because now tables are turned around. India, China, Brazil, Africa, these are the biggest markets now. These are the ones that the biggest companies, the US companies, need to go after now. They are no longer just going after US as the most mature market. So this is something revolutionary. So this is something that for every startup doing something on mobile, don't think about all the stuff that has been done before. Feel free to think about totally new things. Okay? So why is it totally different? These are all things that I talked about. Everyone now is a mobile user, and everyone uses this every single day, a lot of times of the day. Even my parents play Candy Crush. And so the time spent on mobile as well, and mobile is global because it's truly global today, not just the mature countries, developed countries, but everywhere. And then also it's not just phones and tablets, but it's your watch, it's your car, it's your refrigerator, it's your oven, everything it runs around mobile and apps, the IoT thing. Okay, and the tables are turned because now all the previously not so interesting countries are now the most interesting countries. And only the companies with foresight will go after users in these countries. Okay, so first, before we dive in to take a look at the trends worldwide, let's take a look at high level. So high level here, we're looking at iOS and Google Play trends. So here we compare Q2 this quarter, this year, iOS and Google Play downloads on the left side. iOS is blue, Google Play is green. So you see that Google Play is almost double of iOS store downloads. Downloads would be somewhat proportional to the number of users worldwide. And note that this doesn't include China. So because China doesn't run Google Play. If you include China, then this is a bit more. Okay, and in terms of Google, the revenues, Google is around 70% of iOS. No, sorry, iOS is generating 70% more than Google Play revenue. Why is this so? Despite a lot more users, because they have Google Play users, Android users have a lot of them all over the world. But the problem is that Google Play by default only accepts credit card. Okay, same as iOS App Store. So they might be able to buy a $100 smartphone, but they might not be able to have a credit card. So this is the only problem. But I don't see this as a huge problem because Google Play is working with a lot of carriers worldwide. And I believe that when carrier billing is enabled, this will be very simple. Carrier billing in Southeast Asia is already done quite a lot. In Singapore, all 3 carriers are on. In Thailand, I think AIS is on. In Indonesia, Telkomsel recently got on. Malaysia, I think there are a few carriers on it as well. This is very important because even if you look at 5-10 years ago, let's say in the context of China, who were paying for all those ringtones on feature phones, all those wallpapers, new subscriptions, silly little games on feature phones? It was not people in Beijing and Shanghai. It was all the people in 2nd and 3rd tier cities. Because why? There are a lot of factory workers, blue-collar workers, students, people who go to work and come home, nothing else to do. They spend money on mobile. They don't go to the club or movies, they go to the pub. This is entertainment to them. They're willing to pay $10 a month, $50. Yeah, this is something definitely, that's the kind of market that Google Play is looking at, and this would be easily unlocked when there's very simple form of payment. Okay, next. So the question is, okay, mobile is big, then where do we go? Where are the big markets? So here's the answer. So here we show you the top 10 countries in the world by iOS plus Google Play downloads, okay? So on the left is green color, you see Google Play downloads. iOS is blue. So top country in the world, not technically, is US. Why? Because China, we don't have Android. We don't have Google Play data. If we extrapolate it, most people say Android in China is at least 2 to 3x bigger than iOS. Then definitely China is the biggest market in the world because population and also because the smartphone penetration. And then right after that, you see what? You see Brazil, India, Russia, Mexico, Indonesia, Turkey. These did not used to be the biggest markets in the world. But these today are the biggest markets in terms of users. And of course, when you have users using smartphones, sooner or later, smart companies will find a way to monetize them. And also, if you think about it, Southeast Asia, a lot of funding activity in Singapore, Malaysia, a lot of incubators and so on. But where are the biggest funding going to? Indonesia, because that's the biggest market. And mobile today is not about PC users, internet users, people who have MacBooks. It's about anybody who has a $100 smartphone and needs to get something done easily or cheap entertainment. Okay? So this, very important. The markets are not the US and Western Europe anymore. Next, we look at revenue. Note that this is only store revenue. Anything that doesn't pass through the App Store, we don't count it here. So number 1 market in the world by revenue is not US, it's Japan. Because Japan game users spend crazy high ARPU. Okay. Okay, and then China here again is at number 3. A lot of people think that, okay, Chinese users just download, they don't pay. That's no longer true. Just based on iOS revenue, not counting Android revenue, China is number 3 in the world, more than Korea, UK, and so on. Okay, and after that, you also see this is quite typical, except for Taiwan. Taiwan maybe is a little similar to Japan, where a lot of high ARPU game users, because Taiwan's population actually is quite similar to Malaysia in terms of population size. Okay, so next this shows you where the countries are today, but let's see if they are growing. Okay, now let's look at iOS markets. Which iOS markets are growing? So if we compare July this year compared to July last year, China overtook US in terms of being the #1 market in the world by iOS downloads. And again, iOS downloads will be kind of proportionate to users. And after that, you see UK, Russia, France, Germany, the typical expected countries, and no change, because it's kind of settled there. Because these are iPhone 6, iPhone 6 Plus, yeah. And in terms of revenue, there's Korea growing up because maybe Samsung, LG are losing some share, and then there's Taiwan as well. Next, we look at Google Play. Okay, there used to be a lot of growth. I won't say this is similar, but there's still a lot of growth. So see, Korea used to be #2 in the world. Korea is now at #8. So Korea is still very high today, #4 in the world by iOS plus Google Play. But if you look at this Google Play chart, they have dropped down 4 places, and they are likely to keep dropping in terms of this ranking. And then what is growing? You see Vietnam, you see Turkey, you see Indonesia, Mexico. So what I said previously, look at who's top and look at who are the next ones that are growing. These are hotspots that you can invest in. You can place your troops in, place your budgets in. Yeah. In terms of revenue, not too much growth, not as much growth as downloads. Why? Because revenue is mainly driven by carrier billing, and Google needs to take time to work with every single carrier in the world. Imagine how much time it would take to talk to Singtel, then start a totally new discussion with Telkomsel. You know, this one is not something that's scalable. It's more human effort. Okay. Next, we look at category trends. So if you're thinking of doing something global, and the thing is, why not global? Because if you look at PC and internet businesses, you launch a product, you need to find partners in different countries, distributors, you need to find payment gateways, servers in every country. But today, mobile, you just upload to iOS App Store or Google Play, instantly it's sold worldwide. So what products can I do worldwide? So this is the iOS App Store ranking by downloads and revenues in July this year. So #1 definitely is games for downloads, and then photo and video has overtaken entertainment. And the only other one that's growing is travel. In terms of revenue, games is by far #1, social is #2, and music, mainly from US revenue, is #3. Yeah, the rest pretty much not so much revenue. And again, we're talking about store revenue. There's a lot of other revenue that we might not be taking into account, like advertising revenue and so on, and offline goods revenue. If you're like Taobao, if it's Zalora, the revenue doesn't pass through the store. Why? Because the goods are expensive. You don't want to give Apple and Google 30% of your margin. That's not imaginable. Yeah. Okay. How about Google Play? Note there's a big difference. Tools is #2 in terms of downloads. Why just this one? This one I was talking at just the previous session. Most Android users have some tools, especially the young male users or the male users around 25, 34 years of age. There's one flashlight on your phone. There's one alarm clock on your phone. There's one launcher on your phone. There's one battery saver on your phone. Because people would download games and delete games, try new games every week. But if you found one tool, one flashlight, one Evernote, one this, one that, it stays on your phone forever. And then you buy a new phone, you download that same app again. So this is incredible in terms of active usage. When you have active usage, you can do whatever with it. You can monetize on your own, or you can push other apps, advertising revenue. This is incredibly important. That's why you see a lot of it's coming from a lot of Chinese companies. And they're not going after the US, they're going after Brazil, Mexico, India, Indonesia, and so on, because these countries have a lot of Android presence, and they want to be that one battery saver, one flashlight, one alarm clock on your phone. Okay, that's for tools. And communication is #3. Communication is all the WhatsApp, WeChat, Line, and so on. And in terms of revenue, you see that tools is not performing too bad either in terms of revenues. I mean, people would not imagine Android users to pay, and especially for tools, but it's #4. Okay, next we take a look at App Annie Store Index. This is something that we publish on our website every month. So Just now we saw which are the top global categories. Now, which are the top global apps? Okay, so these are the top games worldwide, iOS plus Google Play. So you see, Agar.io, this is actually a Flash game. A lot of Flash games converted to mobile are actually doing very well, very, very well. Like 2048 was also a Flash game. A lot of these games are doing well, and the production cost is actually not so much. You think about it, this kind of game, or 2048, how many people does it take to make? Or I forgot the name of the game. The one in Vietnam, the one guy that did that game. Yeah, just one person. Flappy Bird, yes. Yeah. So if you want to get top worldwide downloads, you don't have to be a huge company, okay? And you see companies from all over the world as well. Even number 9, same thing. It was 8-ball pool. 8-ball pool, this is not a new idea. It's not a new game. But suddenly it's number 9 in the world. Okay, and then in terms of revenues, pretty much top 4 have been around for at least 2 or 3 years. Clash of Clans, Candy Crush. Oh, Candy Crush has fallen out. Okay, Puzzle and Dragons, yes. Yeah, these have been around for the longest time. So this one, it takes a lot of time you take a long time to build traction and then to grow revenues and be in the top 10. But of course, outside of the top 10, there's more change. Top 10, very few change. Okay, next. Okay, but before that, one thing as well. Number 5, Fantasy Westward. This is from NetEase in China. And this is only iOS revenue because we are not counting the Google Play revenue in China, no Google Play in China. And just iOS China revenue. iOS China revenue only is making it number 5 in the world. And all the other games are iOS plus Google Play revenue. This one, our premium version, you will see. But here I cannot announce. Yeah. But it's more than 9 figures a month. Yeah. Okay, next we look at top companies worldwide, okay? Top game companies worldwide by games, downloads, and revenue. So you see, interesting to mention, number 5, Doodle Mobile in China. So this is a company that's doing a lot of casual games that are just reskinned. Why? Because, and they don't do it for games revenue, they do it rather for advertising revenue. Because you might spend 3 days to build a game and then the retention is maybe 3 days. You might spend 5-6 months to do a game, then retention is maybe 1 week, 2 weeks. So why not just build a simple game? So the thing about games is you build according to what revenue model you have in mind. If you want to monetize from ads, then you want to shorten your build cycle, and also you want to make it such a way that people are likely to click the ads more. And also you can come up with a lot of new apps all the time because it's very cheap. So they have established a whole lot of downloads, and then at a very cheap cost, I know them, they are just 150 people. But they can keep churning out new games all the time at very cheap cost and keep building their base of MAU and keep delivering ads. Because for a company size of 150 people, easily sustainable by ad revenue. Okay, and then the rest, in terms of revenue, it's Supercell, MaGIC, and King. Okay, and MaGIC, of course, is just mainly making money in Japan. And Gang Ho as well, and Kulopla as well, yeah. So, and also the Tencent and NetEase are mainly making, and Netmarble as well, mainly making money just in their home territories. So a lot of the top companies in the world are still actually not so global. There's much more they can do globally. Okay, next we look at top apps. Apps meaning non-games, okay? So these top apps by downloads on the left side and revenues on the right side. So downloads, you see a lot of Facebook apps. And then after that, what? A lot of Chinese tools. That's what I said just now. Chinese companies are going after not the US and Western European markets, but they're going after all the markets with huge population, huge market size, trying to be that one launcher, one browser, one clean master. And you think about it, 10 years ago, who were the security companies and where are they today? McAfee, Kaspersky, all this, where are they today? The last time I saw, McAfee was trying to do a very heavy scanner for your mobile phone. But these are very lightweight. I'm not even sure if they actually do any real scanning or really find really new threats, or they just show you what you want to see. But whatever, it works, and they have huge active user base and downloads. And this is the niche that a lot of Western companies don't see. Western companies still think, I need to build a really good scanner, I can sell this for $10, you know? Okay. And in terms of revenue, Line is making money mainly in Japan, Thailand, Taiwan, a bit in Indonesia as well. Then Spotify is starting to make money on App Store, because previously they decided no way they're going to give Apple and Google 30% of their fees, because they spend so much on acquiring IP. But they saw all the trends from Pandora, from HBO, and so on. They realized they need to do this. And even we start to see this in China as well. A lot of the biggest TV platforms, they actually sell through the App Store as well. They sign memberships to the App Store. Okay, and these are the top companies by non-game apps. Okay, like what I mentioned, mainly US, Chinese, Japanese companies. Okay, next, what works across this region? Because this region is many different countries, different languages, so how similar are they? Okay, before we take a look at that, let's look at country ranking in this region. In terms of downloads, naturally, Indonesia has the biggest market, and smartphone penetration is growing fast, so that's why they're number one. Then Thailand number two, Vietnam, Philippines, Malaysia, Singapore. And in terms of revenue, Singapore is number one. But as long as Google Play billing is very convenient, picks up on carrier billing in a lot of the biggest countries, I no doubt that these will surpass Singapore very soon. But the problem is, the carriers in these countries are probably the hardest to work with. Yeah. Okay, so these are the combined top apps in Southeast Asia by downloads and revenues. What works across? Okay, so let's first look at downloads. A lot of these, except for Clash of Clans, are casual games. Casual games don't need translation into Thai, Bahasa, Vietnamese. Casual games, people just play. It's okay to just have English if you're doing casual game. And you see, interestingly, there's Angry Birds, there's Temple Run, there's Plants vs. Zombies, and it's not the latest version, it's the first version. This happens a lot. I also see this in China, because a lot of people have their first smartphone ever. And the first smartphone ever, when they have the first smartphone, they will go download all the games that they've heard for so many years. You know, they go download Fruit Ninja first version, Angry Birds first version, Plants vs. Zombies first version. This happens a lot. So you can infer from here that a lot of people in Southeast Asia are getting their first smartphone. Okay, in terms of revenue, there's Clash of Clans, there's Clash, and there's Candy Crush, and the rest of it is quite different from Western world titles. So you see Everybody's Marble, you see Clash of Kings, you see Summoner's War especially, doing very well in Southeast Asia. So some of these titles don't really work in the West, but they work here. Mostly Chinese, Japanese, Korean titles. Okay, next we look at top developers in this region by downloads revenue. So number one is actually Doodle Mobile from China. And then the thing is, how many Southeast Asian companies are there here? It's time to make a serious move, right? There are no Southeast Asian companies here. Mostly Chinese, Japanese, US companies. Okay, and this is by non-game apps. Top in Southeast Asia, a lot of tools. Besides messaging and Line, WeChat is not here because WeChat is only big in 1 or 2 countries in Southeast Asia. But even number 8, BBM, only alive in Indonesia, but it's number 8 in Southeast Asia wide. And they're actually making revenue as well, as you can see. And a lot of the top revenue apps are mainly making, you can see a few of them are just making free calls. Okay, and these are top non-game companies. Again, not that many, not that many Southeast Asian companies. Okay, finally we go to usage. Because what I mentioned was usage to me is the most important KPI. Investors, when they invest, they don't really ask you how many downloads you have, they ask you how many active users you have and what's the retention like. Okay, so here we just show you Malaysia data. These are top played games in Malaysia. So some of them are no longer being downloaded, like 2048, but they're still played a lot. Okay. Next, we look at non-games. So it's a lot of messaging apps, and then interestingly, I see Waze. And I took Uber a lot these few days. I see a lot of people using Waze as well, I think. And also I asked around friends who use Waze here. They said, oh, they can see where the police are. And also, but more importantly, they can see where the traffic jams are and avoid, not police, okay? Yeah. Okay, and another interesting thing is not here, but on Android at number 11. I saw a traditional company, because in top mobile apps today, I hardly see traditional companies. So number 11 on Android, I'm not listed here, is actually Maybank to you. I was very surprised, and I feel happy as well, because not many traditional companies really know how to do mobile well. And this one in Malaysia, they apparently have some results. Yeah. Okay, that's about it for the data that I've prepared. So feel free to ask me any question. So anything on mobile, anything on apps, any on markets or SaaS companies, or just startup journey, you know? Yeah.
I think, in general, a lot of startups would probably be interested to find out about the cost to get these startups.
So I'll answer this question to two aspects. Firstly, cost of installs is kind of a little bit related to the ARPU, average revenue per user, or if you're talking about games. Some countries have higher ARPU, naturally their installs will be more expensive. In Singapore, I heard, like Singapore, in Southeast Asia, Singapore, cost of install is probably 2.5 to 3x of other countries in the region. That's for installs. The other way to go about it is to be creative around it, because startups don't really have ad budget. Even if your ad budget is probably not enough to make an impact. In big countries like Indonesia, Thailand. In Singapore, you can, because you just need a few thousand to be in top. It's a small country. So, yeah. The other day I was meeting, during the startup consulting session, I met a company, Unistay.co. So I found that they have a very, very good niche. This university students. So when you don't have that much budget, your marketing costs can be reduced when you go for not very niche, but niche audiences. Is much more focused, easier to make a real impact. I mean, campus marketing is probably very exciting, very fun, and not that expensive. So this is one angle to pitch, to reduce your cost. Yeah, so that one is where you could get a lot of insights from our paid stuff. Why? Because there are so many markets in the world that, like you saw, which market should you prioritize, and which markets should you spend how much budget on? These are things that you can actually plan precisely. How many days do I need to sustain, and even things like how many downloads do I need to reach number 5 position on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, weekend? Is all different. So this one is a lot of planning involved, but I would say I've not seen that many early stage startups invest too much in terms of paid user acquisition. Yeah, that one is more for startups past Series B, and then they have budget to do this on a prolonged basis, and they have someone who's very experienced at user acquisition. They know how they keep tracking the traffic that comes from each channel, and then optimize which channel brings best users, and then increase traffic there. This kind of stuff. Yeah.
Suggest for this kind of app?
Sorry, for what kind of app?
Well, anything to do with this kind of games. I mean, here in Malaysia we have
okay.
Like Upin and Ipin.
I think in Malaysia it's simple. Two things. One is traditional Chinese games. That one's already making money today. And traditional Chinese games you can not just sell in Malaysia, but Taiwan, Hong Kong. Taiwan, Hong Kong are also very high ARPU markets. The other side is how about Malay games? This is something that's not tried out, but mobile is anything can happen in mobile. So why not? You know, I have a friend in China who they are running a lot of services and apps for the Muslim population in China. China actually has one of the biggest Muslim populations as well, and they are a niche there because all the biggest Chinese companies would not go after the Xinjiang region, but they're one of the biggest DAU, MAU holders in that region. So something that's not been done before doesn't matter. If you think about Candy Crush. Think about mobile gamers today. Mobile gamers today are not people who play Warcraft, Dota many years ago. My parents are playing Candy Crush. They never touched Dota and StarCraft. Who's playing mobile games? Everybody's playing mobile games today. So why not games that target Malay population as well? And Indonesia is a huge market. Of course, freemium is the one that everyone says is very easy to do, much better. But I would say just go. I would say it's more like what I said previously. When think of your business model from the start, and then build your app according to that. You're going to charge by ads. You're going to charge by premium purchase. You're going to charge by freemium. It's all. There's a lot of mechanics. Like for instance, I tried building a game myself. It was a very very casual game. I had the ad click was 10%. Not because I put it in a very crazy position, but what I learned about building that game was that firstly I designed it to be making money from ads. So why did it make money from ads? Why did it have so many click through? Because firstly, the game must not be too exciting. If the game is exciting, no one would look at your app. But if the game is very repetitive meaning doesn't mean it's not fun. Repetitive meaning it ends in 30 seconds. You have to click a lot, press a lot of things in 30 seconds and see how fast you do it. When things like that, and then people keep trying to break the record. And this is possible because every time you try to play it, it's just 30 seconds. You don't want to spend 10 minutes to try and break a record. So because the game is so monotonous, so boring, and then when something interesting shows up in the app banner, people say, "Yeah, this is interesting," then they click. So this is an example of building a game to monetize from ads. If you want to build a game to monetize from paid app revenue, so what I would think top of my head is you must have really nice title, really nice logo, really nice screenshots, video, and text. Because that's all people have to judge before they click and buy. After they try it, they give a good review, that helps. But really, before they make a purchase, that's all they see. And of course, it helps if you're a big company. If you're EA Game Loft, you put it at $5.99 purchase, people can buy it. But if you're not, you rely a lot on all those visuals because that's all people have to consider. For freemium, it's simple. You just get them download for free, and then you hook them somehow. You just try out the freemium games. You see so many patterns if you're hooked yourself. Yeah.
What is the best creation, and then get to know which one is the best, because you are the pro,
No, I won't say I'm pro. I'm a consumer. I pay for games too. Yeah. So but I think, like what I said, mobile is huge. There's so many audiences. Games will work for everyone, and now like everyone in the world could be gamers too. So it's infinitely large for even small categories of games.
Do you have any generic statistics to throw around with regards to the split between, let's say, ad revenues and IP revenues for the freemium space?
I have it, but it's not in my head. It's my computer. But I would say it's probably 9-1. Not because freemium makes more revenue, but so many more developers decide to go for freemium rather than paid. But some of the paid apps, the top paid apps in the world, the top one is Minecraft. They're making a lot of money. Yeah, and they're not just a game; they're a community. They have their own engine. Many people building apps for Minecraft as well. That one is a whole world of its own.
What do you think of the Windows Store and the BlackBerry Store? Do you think it's a good place for monetization?
For startups, don't think about that. Startups focus on two things: top stores and stores that are still growing. So what you mentioned do not really obey that rule. They're not top, they're not really growing that much. In terms of third-party stores, Amazon used to be the biggest one, but even now they're not doing well. So I would not, for startups, don't worry. But unless they are going to fund you. Windows and other stores, they actually sometimes do fund developers to produce apps for them. If you think of it as short-term funding, you want to do it, you don't waste too many resources. Not so much resources, but you don't give up other stuff in your pipeline for that, other important stuff in your pipeline for that. Yeah, that's the main concern. For us, it's the same. We are a SaaS company. There's some guys coming to us, we'll pay you big money, do this customized project for us. It's not about the money. Let's say they can give 1 million. It's not about 1 million, but it's about the stuff that I have to push aside to do this project. And the stuff that I pushed aside, this will be worth maybe 10 million in the next year. But it's because of this stupid one-time project, I have to give that up and I lose the competitors. So it's more these kind of things that, you think about. And so focus on, iOS and Google Play are big enough. Yeah.
I want to ask you about the ASO. So I think you can use AppNet to boost your ASO, right?
Not boost. We don't boost. We show you. We do research. You find any app, you can see what the stats are.
So one of my game, actually Monster Truck, is organically in Google Play number 5, right? If you type Monster
Great.
Truck, it's number 5. But I don't know how that we can use this keyword rank actually that can help us to improve our ASO.
I would say you have to first consider ASO is most useful for things that people are looking for. I don't think many people are looking for monster or truck on an app store, but it's more useful, I think, for, let's say, golf. If you're the number 1 hit for golf, then you'll be big. Because why? Golf is something that people look for. People will not find it at the top of the charts, but golf lovers will search for golf. What else? I cannot think, but let's say buffet. Yeah.
So, for example, that if we have a games that we want to do, so what we can do from the keyword ranks, whether we
Okay.
need to check from the keyword
So
first.
this one, keywords game rank for games. Typically, what I've seen other companies do is to try to attach themselves to the biggest apps, like 2048. If you rank highly for 2048, although you are monster truck, you will get a lot of free downloads.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is strategy because I don't think many people actually go search for specific game titles. They don't really search zombie game, ninja game. I don't think
So
people do that.
How do we utilize this? This tool from the AppNE to help our games to improve
Okay.
the ranking.
So our tool mainly helps you track your ASO performance. We don't really provide tools to increase your performance, but what you can see from you is you can take a look at your own app description, your own keywords. When you change this, when you tweak this, how does it improve your performance? That's one. But the more important thing is you can see other apps. When other apps change and tweak their keywords, how does it affect their search performance? So this is where we can help you by looking at a lot of people's changes and tweaks and rank changes, and then you identify the pattern. Because if you ask me, I don't know how iOS and Google Play does it. I don't know the algorithm.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Besides getting user downloads, how to get featured in App Store and Google Play?
This one is tricky. Buy them dinner. No, okay. iOS, I think is very tricky. Okay, no answer. Okay, but this is from what I hear a lot. iOS, one thing is whenever they come up with new devices, new devices will have new feature like Super HD or this accelerometer, whatever, crazy stuff. And you have new app or Apple Watch. Yeah, when your new app supports these features, you're likely to be featured. Especially you must be very fast. You must be extremely fast to support these new features. That's one thing. And the next one applies to both iOS and Google Play as well. When you have a huge event in the country or region. Let's say in China they had World Expo a few years ago, and then you have your app related to World Expo and specifically for China, and then you'll be featured as well. That's one thing. What I also heard on Google Play is that you have as close as possible to the stock Android, not stock Android, to the ideals they have for Android. Because Android is different from iOS. You don't want to just create an iOS app and then port it to Android with the same exact controls. Android has a back button. Android has a menu button. They want you to make use of all these. And then Android has, I think you go and search on Google, they have a set of guidelines, design guidelines. You stick as close as you can to that, then they're more likely to feature you. That's what I heard. Yeah, pretty much that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we're out of time. So thank you, Junde.
Thank you.
Let's give him a round of applause.